All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about another real tragedy in the music world, doing it real time for a few real people out there, just like you and me. My buddy Tony sent me another link, and unfortunately, it has more bad news and a little bit of head scratching along with it. The algorithm, by the way, is not going to like this video. Um, I'm sorry, but here's what I want people to do. I want people to care, right? And if this is happening, why is it happening? And how can we stop it from happening? Now, I watched a couple of other videos this morning. Look, this is not conspiracy theory, okay? This isn't the moon landing, the flat earth. This isn't certain things that people believe about 9/11, for instance. This is happening. And you know what I am afraid of is that because there are so many conspiracies floating around and people seem to do it as a hobby, they'll send out links all day long. Somebody does a podcast about a certain thing that's happening, and they believe, that. Uh, I mean, there are just so many of them. It's hard for me to keep track. I get them, and I end up deleting about 95% of them. But on the topic of died suddenly and mysteriously and unexpectedly, this is happening. So I wasn't aware of the pop superstar Zahara, but apparently in South Africa, she was a big deal. She died at age 36 a few days ago on December 11th. Her family says she was pure light and even pure in heart in this world. Now, they call her a beloved pop superstar. So, again, she was a big deal in South Africa. Again, her family, a beacon of hope, a gift, and a blessing to us and countless people around the world. They noted, here we go, Zahara passed away with family and friends by her side. Again, she's 36 years old. You know, people get old and they get cancer or they get certain ailments and they're bedridden. Somebody who was an acquaintance, older gentleman, passed away recently, and it took many weeks before, and actually, I would say a few months before he really got to the point where he was on his deathbed. And typically, that's what I'm used to seeing when people die. Now, he had a form of cancer, and I'm not here to question what he did, if he did anything, which precipitated that. He was 77 years old, which is right around the life expectancy for men. It's a little under that, 78 or 79. I'm not sure where it is currently. I'm pretty sure it's going down, though, life expectancy. But Zahara was 36 years old, and she was a big deal in South Africa. So again, her official cause of death was not mentioned, but the family spoke out in November to say she had been admitted to the hospital with an undisclosed medical issue. Okay, that's what they're saying. It's a medical issue. Now, a medical issue could be you stubbed your toe. A medical issue could be that you have the sniffles. I mean, it's a pretty wide swath of things that you could put under medical issue. Pretty much anything can be a medical issue, right? And some things are now medical issues that weren't medical issues before. Some things that are psychological issues are now medical issues. I don't know. The famous artist was known for her unique Afro soul style and her ability to rise to fame with multi-platinum selling albums. By the way, people don't sell multi-platinum albums anymore. With the streaming and all, just the whole out there on the cloud world that we are currently living through, it's unusual for an artist to sell physical product, or at least where people have to pay for the download. And by the way, she did all this in spite of not ever having professional music training. She sang in her country's official language, but also in English. This, according to ABC News. A legendary figure in the world of music, she remarkably touched millions of people's lives with her extraordinary gift and passion for music. She leaves behind an indelible mark on the music industry and a legacy that will forever resonate in our hearts and souls. Again, that's her family making this statement. Her 2011 album, Lalaway, which translates to The Train, was certified double platinum and became South Africa's best and fastest selling album, only getting beat out by Brenda Fassie, according to ABC News. The beloved artist won 17 South African Music Awards and was listed as being among the top 100 most influential women in the world by the BBC in 2020. Among her many accolades is an album that went triple platinum and another that went platinum, again, according to ABC News. A life so beautifully lived deserves to be beautifully remembered. May we remember Zahara not with sorrow, but with the healing joy, kindness, and inspiration she brought to us through her music and her life. That, again, according to her family. Now, a life lived so beautifully also deserves some truth and justice. Why did this happen to this superstar? Does anybody care about the why? Is it busybody behavior to care about the why in this situation? Wouldn't we want to prevent any more of this? 36 years old. I'm sorry, that's a super young person. I don't care what the new normal says, but here we are. Every video I do on this topic, people don't care. I mean, shouldn't we care? Look, if it isn't what I think it is, and I keep saying this in case this is the first video you've watched of this lunatic doing conspiracy theory stuff, it says there's no cause of death, undisclosed medical issue. So if we get specific, when it says that someone was battling cancer for 6 years or whatever, I go, yeah, what a battle. They battled it for 6 years, or whatever the ailment is. A lot of times it's cancer. Sometimes it's heart disease, or whatever. Could be a number of different things, obviously. But here we are, undisclosed, not giving any information, some medical issue. What was the medical issue? I mean, if you want to just shut down videos like this by me, and I'll move on and I'll talk about Steve Perry again, or whatever topic, just tell people, hey, she had this, and this is why she died, and we can move on. But these are happening more and more. In fact, Laura Ingraham last night. Laura Ingraham, very mainstream, Fox News, prime time. She had Dr. Pierre Corey on, I believe. And they were talking about how it seems as though a lot of young people are just mysteriously dying. And insurance companies have been documenting this now for a couple of years. And some people blame climate change. Some people blame racism. Some people blame the failure to launch syndrome, where younger people have to assimilate into the workforce. Yeah, no, I don't think those are the causes of the increase in mortality. I think there might be another culprit. So why isn't Congress investigating this, launching investigations? Why hasn't law enforcement got involved? Now, again, this happened in South Africa, but it's happening all over the world. Seriously, why hasn't your local sheriff looked into this? In fact, I may just give a phone call to the local sheriff and say, hey, you guys do investigations, right? So if the mortality rate is through the roof in your county compared to, say, I don't know, let's just pick a number. What is it, 2023? Say 2019. Just for kicks and giggles, you say 2019, here's the death rate, and here's what it looks like in 2024. And it's more than double. Let's just throw that number in. I don't know if it's actually more than double, but let's say it's an increase of, I don't know, 20%, 30%. According to an insurance company, that would be a catastrophic event, like, a meteor hits on the other side of the earth or something, or tidal wave or tsunami. That would be that type of event, a hurricane, but it would have to be a hurricane that hits in multiple places or multiple hurricanes. Again, it would be one of those events that defined the next 1,000 years. Like, people would remember that event throughout history. So that's basically what's happening, and nobody cares. I mean, people care around the edges. They wake up in the morning and they go, something is definitely not right, but it couldn't be what this lunatic on YouTube is saying. It just couldn't be that, because my doctor said everything's cool. He's the one that told me to go and do it. And then he's still telling me to go and do it. And on TV, why would I hear this all the time? Why would they tell us to do this if it's bad? This is what my dad used to do. He used to do this. Money. It's about the money. And people just don't want the money train to end. And so we've got this South African megastar, superstar, 36 years old. Does that pique anyone's curiosity? I mean, what's it going to take? What's it going to take? It's going to have to be somebody close to you, because obviously somebody on the other side of the planet who you've never heard of, who apparently touched millions of lives, that doesn't do it. So what's it going to take? And is it going to have to be like one every hour or something for people to care? Think about all of the people who aren't famous that this is happening to right now. And you're not going to hear about those people. It's going to be Joe Smith of small town USA, died suddenly after a small illness, or a short illness. He was 41. He leaves a wife and kids. Oh, that's too bad. And we're getting to the point where people are desensitized. They're like, it happens all the time, Dave. Especially if the people are older. Sarah Dash, she was 76. What are you talking about? I mean, and then, just all of these other people that I've been mentioning, a lot of them, maybe you've never heard of. Some of them I've never heard of. You can't cover the music world entirely and know just every little nook and cranny of music around the world. But this seems a little bit suspicious, and it's happening at an alarming rate. So again, I've been on this soapbox for a long time. This channel actually veered into other lanes. I've crossed traffic. I've run into other traffic. People say just to stay in your lane. All right, sure. Well, this is music related. So, if they were just covering Joe Smith and not the pop superstar, but the pop superstar gets your attention. People go, whoa, she was only 36, huh? And people loved her in this country. So anyway, it's Zahara. Go look it up. Go look up the article. It's everywhere. And what's crazy is the mainstream, they're reporting all this stuff, and none of them ever say, I wonder what caused this. I mean, you'll get an opinion from the medical community, the foreign policy experts. Everybody will come on and give their opinion about all these important topics. But what's more important than the mortality rate around the world? And you wonder why conspiracy theories are running like crazy right now, are running wild. Because if you're not being told the truth, you're going to do your own research. And sometimes your own research might lead you to the wrong conclusion. But, in fairness, if you're not being told anything, there's a vacuum, there's a void there. So independent-minded people are going to start to look elsewhere for their information. If you can't tell me why this is happening, then why should I trust you about anything else? Why is that so difficult for people to understand? I want to believe that there are some good people out there, and that certain people in the medical community and in the news business, they might actually care about humanity, but it doesn't look that way, does it? Looks like it's just the opposite. So in any event, I know you're not supposed to do your own research on this topic, but I would suggest that people do their own research and come to their own conclusions. And if this has an explanation, it's still a huge tragedy, right? If it makes sense, it still doesn't make sense completely. But, maybe again, I won't go down that rabbit trail looking for what I think is going on. There's just too much of this happening to not think that something isn't up. So, in any event, you can also watch that report that Laura Ingraham did last night with Dr. Pierre Kory, who is very smart and I'm sure has been banned pretty much everywhere on many different platforms. And if you don't believe what he's saying, then I like I always say, I really can't help you at that point. You're kind of unconvincible. And that's not actually my goal, is to convince you. My goal, my overarching goal would be to stop this from happening. To just whatever is causing this, make it stop. Someone make it stop. So that's my video. I apologize to those of you who are here for the nonstop journey coverage or the new albums that I promote from time to time at the beginning of videos. I didn't think it was appropriate during this video to promote an album. If you'd like to help my channel, though, the algorithm, again, has just turned it off. It was on for a few weeks, and now it's off again. Patreon. The patrons are the ones that keep me going. Also, YouTube memberships. You get early watching privileges on most of these videos. But seriously, Patreon, if you want to have a discussion, if you're like Tony and you're an investigator, you're a sleuth, and you scour the internet for articles like this, you guys help me a lot with content, and I appreciate that, because typically in the world of classic rock, it's usually a slow news day, and today is another one of those. So, yeah, thanks for being here. God bless everyone. Please pray for peace in the Middle East and around the world. And if you can, just stay away from certain drugstores. That's all I'm going to say about that. I just don't think you need to go there.